Hi viewers, welcome to our new video. What if I told you that some people believe a simple 5-cent Jefferson nickel could be worth more than a luxury car, or even touch numbers people whisper about in the millions of dollars? It sounds impossible, right? A coin so common that most of us have spent it without thinking twice. And yet, collectors around the world keep talking about certain Jefferson nickels that completely defy expectations. Today, we're going to uncover the truth behind 5 Jefferson nickels that look ordinary on the surface but hide stories that could shock you. One by one, we'll break down what makes them special, what mistakes can turn pocket change into something valuable, and how a tiny detail can separate 5 cents from something far more serious. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which Jefferson nickels are worth checking, which ones could carry hidden value, and how close, or how far, these million-dollar talks really are from reality. Don't skip ahead, because the real surprises aren't at the beginning. They're buried in the details. Stay with me till the end, because one of these nickels might change the way you look at your spare change forever. Let's start with our first coin. You might have heard stories that sound almost unbelievable. A simple 5-cent Jefferson nickel quietly selling for prices so high they reach into the millions of dollars. No gold, no silver, no ancient history. Just a small nickel that once lived in someone's pocket, passed through shops, buses, and cash registers without anyone noticing. And strangely enough, the 1995 P. Jefferson nickel keeps showing up in these conversations. Could a modern coin, made in huge numbers, really be hiding a value that could change a person's life? Or are these million-dollar stories hiding a much more interesting truth underneath? Stay with me till the end, because once we break down the design, history, condition, and every possible value this coin can have, the reality may surprise you more than the rumor itself. The design of the 1995 P. Jefferson nickel is familiar, but familiarity doesn't mean simplicity. On the front, we see Thomas Jefferson facing left, his portrait detailed with fine hairlines, sharp facial contours, and a calm, statesmanlike expression. The word liberty appears clearly to the right, followed by the date 1995. Just beside it sits the small P mint mark, indicating this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. On many coins, these details appear soft or blurry due to wear, but on high-quality examples, every line becomes crisp, and those small differences matter greatly to collectors. The reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home, with its columns, steps, and dome. When the coin is weakly struck, the steps blend together, but on well-struck coins, the structure looks sharp and bold, increasing both desirability and value. By 1995, the Jefferson nickel had already become one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. First introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, it was created to honor Thomas Jefferson's legacy as a founding father and third president of the United States. The design by Felix Schlag remained largely unchanged for decades, meaning that coins like the 1995 P were produced as routine currency, not as collectibles. Millions upon millions were struck and released straight into circulation. Most were spent, scratched, worn down, or lost, which is why truly clean and well-preserved examples from this year are far scarcer than people expect. Now let's slowly and clearly break down every possible value this coin can realistically have. If you find a 1995 P. Jefferson nickel that shows obvious wear, flattened details, dull surfaces, or heavy scratches, its value is 5 cents, exactly face value. Even lightly worn examples typically stay at 5 cents, because collectors want coins with no wear at all. Moving up to nicer uncirculated coins, values begin to change. A basic uncirculated 1995 P. Jefferson nickel, with no wear but average strike quality, usually sells for 50 cents to $1. Coins with better eye appeal, cleaner surfaces, and sharper details often sell in the $1 to $3 range. If the strike is strong and Monticello's details are clearly visible, values can reach $4 to $7. Once you enter higher mint state grades, the numbers climb faster. Coins graded around MS-65 can sell for $10 to $20. At MS-66, values commonly rise to $30 to $60. Extremely high-grade examples graded MS-67 or better become scarce, and prices can jump to $100, $150, $200, and in some cases even more, depending on demand and eye appeal. These prices are real auction results, not exaggerated claims. Now let's talk about error coins, because this is where things become exciting. A 1995 P. Jefferson nickel struck off-center can be worth $20 to $50 for minor shifts, and $100 to $300 for dramatic off-center strikes where much of the design is missing but still identifiable. Broad strike errors, where the coin spreads wider than normal due to collar failure, usually sell for $25 to $75, sometimes more if the strike is clean and dramatic. Die cracks and die breaks can range from $15 to $100, depending on size and visibility. One of the most valuable error types is the doubled die. If doubling appears clearly on Jefferson's eye, nose, lettering, or date, values can rise significantly. Minor doubled dies may sell for $50 to $100, while strong, obvious doubled dies can reach $200 to $500 or more. Planchet errors, such as missing layers or wrong metal strikes, are rare and can push values into the $300 to $800 range, sometimes higher if professionally certified. So realistically, the full value range of the 1995 P. Jefferson nickel runs from 5 cents all the way up to several $100s, depending entirely on condition, grade, and errors. That wide range is exactly why people keep checking their change and why this coin continues to attract attention. Now, after understanding all those values, it's time to address the million-dollar talk honestly. No regular 1995 P. Jefferson nickel has ever sold for anything close to $1 million. Even the finest known examples and the rarest confirmed errors fall far below that level. The million-dollar claims usually come from misunderstandings, misleading online listings, or confusion with extremely rare experimental coins from entirely different periods. But here's the key takeaway: that doesn't make this coin worthless or unimportant. The 1995 P. Jefferson nickel proves that even modern pocket change can carry hidden value, sometimes worth hundreds of dollars, if you know what to look for. It reminds collectors that condition matters, errors matter, and knowledge matters most of all. While it won't turn 5 cents into a mansion, the right example can absolutely turn it into a meaningful and exciting find, and that's why people never stop searching. Let's move on our second coin in today's series. You might have heard people casually say that an ordinary nickel could be worth an amount so large it sounds unreal, figures whispered in the millions of dollars, attached to coins most people would never look at twice. And strangely, the 1991 D. Jefferson nickel often gets pulled into these conversations. A coin made in the early 1990s, still turning up in pocket change today. Could it really hide a value powerful enough to shock collectors? Or is the truth behind these claims even more interesting than the rumor itself? Stay with me till the end, because once we uncover how condition, errors, and rarity actually work, this coin may change how you see every nickel you touch. The 1991 D. Jefferson nickel features the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front, facing left, with fine hair details and sharp facial lines that only appear fully on well-preserved examples. The word Liberty sits cleanly to the right, followed by the date 1991, and just beside it is the small D mint mark, showing that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. On the reverse, Monticello stands centered and balanced, with its dome, columns, and steps forming the heart of the design. On many circulated coins, these details blur together, but on strong strikes, the building looks crisp and bold, and those small differences are what collectors hunt for. By 1991, the Jefferson nickel had already been in production for more than 50 years, making it one of the most familiar coins in American history. The design was originally introduced in 1938 to honor Thomas Jefferson, replacing the Buffalo nickel. In the early 1990s, nickels were produced strictly for circulation, not as collectibles. The Denver Mint struck huge numbers of 1991 D nickels, most of which went straight into everyday use. Because of this, the vast majority were worn down over time, making truly high-grade examples surprisingly difficult to find today. Now let's carefully break down all possible values in dollars, starting from the lowest and working upward. A worn 1991 D. Jefferson nickel, with flattened details and visible circulation marks, is worth 5 cents, its face value. Even lightly worn coins usually stay at 5 cents, because collectors prefer examples with absolutely no wear. Uncirculated 1991 D nickels begin to carry modest premiums. Average uncirculated examples typically sell for 50 cents to $1. Coins with cleaner surfaces and sharper strikes often bring $1 to $3. If the coin has strong detail in Jefferson's hair and a well-defined Monticello, values can reach $4 to $6. Once you enter higher mint state territory, prices begin to rise more quickly. Coins graded MS-65 commonly sell for $10 to $20. At MS-66, prices often fall between $25 and $50. High-end examples graded MS-67 become scarce and can sell for $80, $120, or even $200, depending on eye appeal and demand at the time of sale. Now let's move into error territory, where the reall excitement begins. A 1991 D. Jefferson nickel with a minor off-center strike may be worth $20 to $40, while more dramatic off-center errors can sell for $100 to $300. Broad strike errors, where the coin spreads wider than normal due to a failed collar, usually bring $25 to $75. Die cracks and die breaks range from $15 to $100, depending on size and visibility. Double die errors are among the most desirable. If doubling appears on the date, lettering, or Jefferson's facial features, values can climb quickly. Minor double dies may sell for $50 to $100, while strong, well-defined examples can reach $200 to $500 or more. Rare planchet errors, such as missing layers or wrong metal strikes, are especially valuable and can sell for $300 to $900, sometimes higher if professionally certified. So realistically, the full value range of the 1991 D. Jefferson nickel stretches from 5 cents at the low end to several $100s at the high end. That wide range is what fuels curiosity and keeps collectors searching through rolls and pocket change. Now, after understanding all of that, it's time to talk honestly about the million-dollar stories. No standard 1991 D. Jefferson nickel has ever sold for $1 million. Even the highest graded examples and the most dramatic confirmed errors fall far below that level. The million-dollar claims usually come from confusion, misleading listings, or stories passed along without full understanding. But that doesn't mean this coin lacks excitement. The 1991 D. Jefferson nickel proves that ordinary coins can still carry real value when condition and errors come together in the right way. It shows how 5 cents can turn into hundreds of dollars, not fantasy money, but real collector value. And that's exactly why checking your change is never a waste of time. Let's move on our third coin in today's series. You might have heard people talk about a simple 5-cent coin suddenly being worth an amount so huge it sounds unreal, numbers whispered in the millions of dollars, attached to coins that look completely ordinary. And believe it or not, the 1990 P. Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that often gets dragged into those conversations. A nickel from the 1990s, still easy to find today. Could it really be hiding a value that could shock collectors? Or is the real story behind its worth something even more fascinating? Stay with me till the end, because once we break down how this coin was made, how it survives today, and where its real value comes from, the truth becomes far more interesting than the rumor. The design of the 1990 P. Jefferson nickel follows the classic look that Americans had been seeing for decades. On the front, Thomas Jefferson faces left, his portrait showing fine hair detail and smooth facial lines when the coin is well preserved. The word Liberty appears clearly to the right, followed by the date 1990. Near the date is the small P mint mark, showing this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse, Monticello stands at the center, with its steps, columns, and dome forming the heart of the design. On worn coins, these details blur together, but on sharply struck examples, Monticello looks crisp and balanced, a key factor for collectors. By 1990, the Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for more than 50 years. Introduced in 1938, it replaced the Buffalo nickel and was designed by Felix Schlag. The coin was never meant to be rare or collectible at the time. It was produced for daily use. The Philadelphia Mint struck massive numbers of 1990p nickels, and most of them entered circulation immediately. Over time, everyday use caused scratches, wear, and loss of detail, which is why finding a truly clean example today is harder than many people expect. Now let's carefully go through every realistic value in dollars, starting from the lowest. A circulated 1990 P. Jefferson nickel, showing clear wear, flattened details, or heavy marks, is worth 5 cents. Even lightly worn coins almost always stay at face value, because collectors focus on condition. Uncirculated examples start to carry a small premium. A basic uncirculated 1990 P nickel usually sells for 50 cents to $1. Coins with better eye appeal, fewer marks, and stronger strikes often sell for $1 to $3. If the strike is sharp and Monticello's details are clearly visible, values can rise to $4 to $6. Once you move into higher mint state grades, values increase more quickly. Coins graded MS-65 typically sell for $10 to $20. At MS-66, prices often range from $25 to $50. High-end examples graded MS-67 or higher are much scarcer and can sell for $75, $120, or even $200, depending on demand and visual quality. Era coins are where the 1990 P. Jefferson nickel becomes far more exciting. Minor off-center strikes may be worth $20 to $40, while strong off-center errors can sell for $100 to $300. Broad strike errors, caused by a failed collar during striking, often bring $25 to $80. Die cracks and die breaks can range from $15 to $120, depending on how bold and visible they are. Double die errors are among the most valuable possibilities. If clear doubling appears on Jefferson's facial features, the lettering, or the date, values can rise sharply. Minor double dies may sell for $50 to $100, while strong, obvious double dies can reach $200 to $500 or more. Rare planchet errors, such as missing layers or wrong metal strikes, are especially desirable and can sell for $300 to $1,000, sometimes even higher if professionally graded and authenticated. So realistically, the full value range of the 1990 P. Jefferson nickel stretches from 5 cents all the way up to several $100s, depending entirely on condition, rarity, and errors. That wide range is exactly what keeps collectors searching through rolls, jars, and pocket change. Now it's time to talk honestly about the million-dollar stories. No standard 1990 P. Jefferson nickel has ever sold for $1 million. Even the finest known examples and the most dramatic confirmed errors fall far below that level. These stories usually come from misunderstandings, exaggerated listings, or confusion with extremely rare experimental or historical coins. But that doesn't mean this coin lacks excitement. The 1990 P. Jefferson nickel proves that everyday coins can still carry real, measurable value when condition and errors line up just right. While it won't turn 5 cents into a fortune overnight, the right example can turn it into a serious collector piece, and that's exactly why checking your change is always worth the effort. Let's move on our fourth coin in today's series. You might have heard people say that even a modern coin, something you probably spent without thinking, could secretly be tied to prices reaching into the millions of dollars. It sounds impossible, especially when we're talking about a nickel made just a few years ago. Yet the 2017 P. Jefferson nickel keeps getting mentioned in these unbelievable conversations. A coin that's still showing up in change today. Could it really be hiding a value far beyond 5 cents? Or is the truth behind its worth something collectors understand much better than the stories being told? Stay with me till the end, because once you see how modern minting, condition, and rare errors work, the reality becomes clearer and more interesting. The 2017 P. Jefferson nickel features the modern design used on nickels today. On the front, Thomas Jefferson faces right, a change introduced in 2006, giving the portrait a sharper, more contemporary look. His expression is bold, with fine hair detail and strong facial lines when the coin is well struck. The word Liberty appears to the left, along with the date 2017, and the small P mint mark confirms it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse, Monticello returns in a clean, updated style, showing Jefferson's home with sharper lines and a more balanced appearance compared to earlier designs. On circulated coins, these details wear quickly, but on fresh examples, the design looks crisp and refined. The history of the 2017 P. Jefferson nickel is closely tied to modern coin production. By 2017, the U.S. Mint was producing nickels using highly automated processes, aiming for efficiency rather than perfection. These coins were not made for collectors, they were made for circulation. Millions were struck and released directly into daily use. Because of this, most examples show marks and wear fairly quickly, making high-grade pieces and unusual errors more desirable than many people expect for such a recent coin. Now let's slowly and clearly go through every realistic value in dollars. A circulated 2017 P. Jefferson nickel, with visible wear or surface marks, is worth 5 cents. Even lightly worn examples usually stay at face value, since collectors can easily find better ones. Uncirculated examples are where value begins to appear. A basic uncirculated 2017 P. nickel typically sells for 30 cents to 75 cents. Coins with cleaner surfaces and stronger strikes may bring $1 to $2. If the coin has excellent eye appeal and sharp details on Jefferson's portrait and Monticello, values can reach $3 to $5. High-grade certified examples are much scarcer than people realize. Coins graded MS-65 often sell for $8 to $15. At MS-66, prices can range from $20 to $40. Coins graded MS-67 or higher become genuinely difficult to find and can sell for $75, $120, or even $200, depending on demand and overall quality. Error coins are the true wild cards for the 2017 P. Jefferson nickel. Minor off-center strikes may sell for $15 to $30, while dramatic off-center errors can reach $80 to $250. Broad strike errors often bring $20 to $60. Die cracks and die breaks typically sell for $10 to $100, depending on size and visibility. Double die errors are especially valuable. If strong doubling appears on Jefferson's face, the lettering, or the date, values can climb quickly. Minor double dies may sell for $40 to $80, while strong, clear double dies can sell for $150 to $400 or more. Rare planchet errors, such as missing layers or wrong metal strikes, are among the most valuable and can sell for $300 to $1,000, sometimes higher when certified. So realistically, the full value range of the 2017 P. Jefferson nickel stretches from 5 cents to several $100s, depending on condition and errors. That wide range explains why even modern coins are carefully examined by collectors. Now it's time to talk honestly about the million-dollar stories. No regular 2017 P. Jefferson nickel has ever sold for anything close to $1 million. Even the most dramatic confirmed errors and highest-graded examples fall far below that level. The million-dollar talk usually comes from misunderstanding how coin values work or confusing modern coins with extremely rare historical pieces. But that doesn't mean this coin is boring. The 2017 P. Jefferson nickel proves that even modern pocket change can carry real value when condition and errors line up. It shows that knowledge, not age alone, is what turns 5 cents into something exciting. And that's exactly why collectors never stop checking their change. Let's move on our fifth coin in today's series. You might have heard people say that even a modern 5-cent coin could somehow be connected to prices reaching into the millions of dollars. It sounds unbelievable, especially when the coin is something you may have spent without a second thought. Yet the 2015 D. Jefferson nickel continues to appear in these surprising conversations. A nickel from recent times, still found in everyday change. Could it really be hiding a value far beyond 5 cents? Or is the real story behind its worth something collectors understand far better than the dramatic claims? Stay with me till the end, because once you understand how modern minting, condition, and rare errors work, the truth becomes both clearer and more fascinating. The 2015 D. Jefferson nickel features the modern design that has been used since the mid-2000s. On the front, Thomas Jefferson faces right, showing sharper facial lines and a more contemporary look compared to older versions of the coin. His hair detail and expression stand out clearly on well-struck examples. The word Liberty appears to the left along with the date 2015, and the small D mint mark shows that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. On the reverse, Monticello returns once again, presented in a clean and balanced style. The building steps, columns, and roofline can look weak on worn coins, but on strong strikes they appear crisp and well-defined, which plays an important role in value. The history of the 2015 D. Jefferson nickel is tied closely to modern U.S. coin production. By 2015, the U.S. Mint was focused on efficiency and mass production. These coins were made for circulation, not collectors. Millions were struck at the Denver Mint and released straight into daily use. Because of that, most examples show contact marks, dull surfaces, or light wear fairly quickly. That's why truly clean, high-grade examples are more desirable than many people expect for such a recent coin. Now let's go step by step through all realistic values in dollars, starting at the bottom. A circulated 2015 D. Jefferson nickel, showing wear or surface marks, is worth 5 cents. Even lightly worn coins almost always remain at face value, because collectors prefer uncirculated examples. Uncirculated 2015 D nickels begin to show small premiums. A basic uncirculated coin usually sells for 30 cents to 75 cents. Coins with better eye appeal, fewer marks, and stronger strikes often sell for $1 to $2. If the coin has excellent detail and a clean surface, values can rise to $3 to $5. High-grade certified examples are much scarcer. Coins graded MS-65 commonly sell for $8 to $15. At MS-66, prices often range from $20 to $40. Coins graded MS-67 or higher become difficult to find and can sell for $75, $120, or even $200, depending on demand and visual quality. Error coins are where this nickel becomes truly exciting. Minor off-center strikes may sell for $15 to $30, while dramatic off-center errors can reach $80 to $250. Broad strike errors often sell for $20 to $60. Die cracks and die breaks range from $10 to $100, depending on size and how clearly they appear on the coin. Doubled die errors are especially desirable. If clear doubling appears on Jefferson's face, lettering, or date, values can rise quickly. Minor doubled dies may sell for $40 to $80, while strong double dies can sell for $150 to $400 or more. Rare planchet errors, such as missing layers or wrong metal strikes, are among the most valuable and can sell for $300 to $1,000, sometimes higher if certified and in strong condition. So realistically, the full value range of the 2015 D. Jefferson nickel runs from 5 cents at the low end to several $100s at the high end. That wide range is what keeps collectors checking even modern coins so closely. Now, after understanding all of that, it's time to talk honestly about the million-dollar talk. No standard 2015 D. Jefferson nickel has ever sold for anything close to $1 million. Even the highest graded examples and most dramatic confirmed errors fall far below that level. These stories usually come from confusion, exaggerated listings, or misunderstanding how coin values actually work. But that doesn't mean this coin lacks importance. The 2015 D. Jefferson nickel proves that even modern pocket change can carry real value when condition and errors come together. It shows that knowledge, not age alone, is what turns 5 cents into something worth saving. And that's exactly why collectors keep looking every single day.